Hey guys, welcome back to Eric Reacts with more Game of Thrones. This is Season 4, Episode 6, and it's called The Laws of Gods and Men. And that makes me wonder, what else do we not know about the political system here, beyond it being just like a monarchy? I'm guessing the king can just change the laws if he wants to, but is there a constitution? Who's responsible for upholding the laws throughout the realm? Also, with magic coming back into this world, the laws of nature have changed. Does that mean there should be a change in the laws of gods and men as well? And we're halfway through the season, so I'm trying to think of characters and storylines we haven't seen in a while and that might be resolved by season's end. We haven't seen Theon and Ramsay in a while. I don't know how torture victims are affected. I don't know any torture victims ever. But just guessing, I feel like the longer Theon has his identity stripped away, the more difficult it will be for him to eventually come back to who he is. Or maybe he'll just be killed. I don't know. We haven't seen Melisandre in a while. Is she off trying to get Gendry back? Oh, we haven't seen Gendry in a long time either. Is he still rowing back to King's Landing? He was facing the wrong way for the whole time. After he goes to sleep for the night, he gets up and starts rowing the wrong way. He should have run out of food and water a long time ago, though. So he should be somewhere safer. Maybe we'll see more of Beric Dondarrion. We haven't seen him since Arya fled. I feel like the show might have made Arya repeat her list of people she wants dead just to remind us of people that still exist and that she still wants to kill. So, we didn't have any Tyrion in the last episode, which I feel like is super rare. His trial must be soon, I feel like. It's going to be before Tommen's wedding. So that's probably coming soon too. So I feel like there are a lot of storylines and I'm not sure which way they'll go with this in this episode. But I'm excited to see how all of this goes down. So let's get started. Oh, his flag is like that. It's like a stag on fire. Oh, how cool would it be if they ran into Jaqen somehow? The bank. Oh, is this Mycroft from Sherlock? Yeah.
Welcome to the Iron Bank. How many fighting men remain loyal to you?
4,000.
And how many ships
That's
do you
it?
have?
This is the payment that was demanded by King Stannis for my crimes. I consider it an honest accounting.
He's an honest man, and he's your best chance to get back the money you've sunk into Westeros. Which is a lot, I imagine.
Wars are expensive. How old is Tywin Lannister?
67.
67, and when he dies, who's in command? A half-grown boy, the product of incest. Cersei Lannister, a queen whose people despise her. Jaime Lannister, a man best known for killing the king he was sworn to protect.
Yeah.
When Tywin's gone, who do you back?
He's got the birthright. He's in his prime.
He's a tried and tested battle commander, and he doesn't just talk about paying people back, he does it.
Oh, was that convincing enough?
Lost Kate in the right.
Thank you.
He's scared? Oh, damn. He's got too far.
Tell them you couldn't trick me.
I'm not tricking you, Theon. I'm saving you.
Nothing. Reek here. Reek. My name is Reek. They catch us in here. We're trapped.
Knock him out.
You're Theon Greyjoy.
How fast can you run?
Oh, jeez. Damn. They got out?
I need your help to take this castle back.
Why?
I need you to play a role. To pretend to be someone you're not. Theon Greyjoy.
What the hell?
Tell this man I am sorry for his hardship. I cannot bring back his goats, but I will see he has paid their value 3 times over.
Wow.
I pray you'll never live to see a member of your family treated so cruelly.
Your father crucified innocent children.
My father spoke out against crucifying those children. He decried it as a criminal act, but was overruled. Your Grace, I ask that you order these men taken down so that they might receive proper burials.
And what of the slave children these noble Meronese crucified?
Your Grace, I cannot defend the actions of the masters. I can only speak to you as a son who loved his father. Let me take his body down.
How many more?
There are 212 supplicants waiting, Your Grace.
Oh, God.
212.
She has 2 knights advising her, Jorah Mormont and
Barristan Selmy.
And she has 3 dragons.
Baby dragons.
Larger every year, Your Grace.
Baby?
Joffrey didn't die on his watch.
Oh.
Dismissing him was as insulting as it was stupid. Dragons haven't won a war in 300 years. Armies win them all the time.
But the dragons won the last one they were.
Where? Lise. I have an ear for accents.
I've lost my accent entirely.
I have an ear for that as well.
Wow.
How did you get here?
It's a long story.
One you don't like telling people.
People I trust.
My paramour, Eladia, she would find you very interesting. You should come to the brothel and meet her. We brought our own wine, not the swill they serve here. We have some lovely boys on retainer, but
I was never interested in girls either.
what then?
Huh.
Nothing.
Everybody is interested in something.
Let me guess. I've been pardoned.
Yeah, okay. This guy. Missed you, Tyrion.
Do hereby recuse myself from this trial.
Oh,
Time
why?
for House Lannister.
He slapped the king across the face and called him a vicious idiot and a fool. He marched up those steps and called our king a halfwit. Compared his grace to the Mad King and suggested he'd meet the same fate. When I spoke in the king's defense, he threatened to have me killed.
Oh, why don't you tell them what Joffrey was doing? Pointing a loaded crossbow at Sansa Stark while you tore at her clothes and beat her.
Silence! Used to strike down the most noble child the gods ever put on this good earth.
Noble child. Yeah, Tyrion's going down.
Monsters are dangerous, and just now kings are dying like flies.
May I ask the witness one question? You once said that without me, the city would have faced certain defeat. You said the histories would never mention me, but you would not forget. Have you forgotten, Lord Varys?
Sadly, my lord, I never forget a thing.
Oh.
I've always hated Tyrion.
He killed his king.
As did I. Do you know the last order the Mad King gave me? To bring him your head. I saved your life so you could murder my brother.
It won't be murder, it'll be justice.
Justice? What happens to your name? Who carries the lion banner into future battles? Lancel Lannister?
Lancel.
Others whose names I don't even remember.
What happens to my dynasty if I spare the life of my grandson's killer?
It survives. Through me.
Oh.
I'll leave the king's guard.
Wow.
I'll take my place as your son and heir if you let Tyrion live.
Done.
Done.
And you'll never turn your back on your family again.
He's been planning this all along, hasn't he? It's not even about the evidence or not. It's just everything's a political play for him. Does that make him a good politician but a horrible person?
Do you trust me?
Aww.
Keep your mouth shut. No more outbursts.
Hear heels or... What? What? Shay, no,
You know
please.
this man?
I know that he's guilty.
Shay.
He and Sansa planned it together.
Oh no.
Continue.
I was his whore.
I beg your pardon. You said you were his...
His whore.
Frickin' Mace.
How did you come to be in his service?
He stole me. I was with another man, a knight in your lordship's army. He ordered me to call him my lion, so I did.
Jesus
took
Christ.
his face in my hands and said, I am yours and you are mine.
Jay. Please don't.
I am a whore. Remember? But she wouldn't let him in her bed. So he promised to kill King Joffrey for her.
You wish to confess?
I saved you. I saved this city. And all your worthless lives. I should have let Stannis kill you all.
Tyrion! You admit you poisoned the king?
No. Of that I'm innocent. I'm guilty of a far more monstrous crime. I'm guilty of being a dwarf. I've been on trial for that my entire life.
Have you nothing to say in your defense?
Nothing but this. I did not do it. I did not kill Joffrey, but I wish that I had. Watching your vicious bastard die gave me more relief than 1,000 lying whores. I wish I was the monster you think I am. I wish I had enough poison for the whole pack of you. I would gladly give my life to watch you all swallow it. I will not give my life for Joffrey's murder, and I know I'll get no justice here, so I will let the gods decide my fate.
What does that mean?
I demand a trial by combat.
Oh, shoot! Oh! Oh, what? Oh, shit. Oh, frickin' Tyrion! Oh. And that theme. Oh, he's become ruthless now. Yes! Oh, Joe. And the Rains of Castamere playing. Frickin' Tyrion. Trial by combat. There's no backing out of this, so I guess Jaime doesn't have to go back to Casterly Rock, because Tyrion's gonna die if whoever his champion is loses. It was like so cool, such a cool moment, and it's followed by this song. This song. Alright, guys. That was awesome. Alright, I'm ending it here. See you guys soon. Alright, that was probably one of my favorite episodes of the series so far. Is it on the level of the Red Wedding? Maybe. I'll decide after this commentary. First, in Davos, what a speech. I swear I'm gonna riot if Davos dies. From a storytelling standpoint, you don't kill off such a great character, but this is Game of Thrones. Anything can happen. And he gets the Bank of Bravos on his side by making some really good points. Once Tywin is gone, who do you want on the throne? Certainly none of the remaining Lannisters. Stannis actually doesn't seem as bad a choice as he was painted to be back in Season 1 by Renly. Like, sure, he's not popular, but he'd actually be more interested in ruling the kingdom than most of the other people. He even gets the pirates from... Davos even gets the pirates back from Salador San in Stannis' army, so another win. I can't believe they only had 4,000 men left, though. Oh, man, that sucks. Yara tries to save Theon, but he's too far gone. He doesn't even trust Yara, and the Ironborn probably should have killed the dogs before Ramsay got there. I'm sorry, I love dogs, but if you're at war, you destroy every weapon the enemy has. Yeah. I'm hoping that playing the role of Theon will remind him of who he really is. Probably not, though. I wonder if anything is enough to wake him up, or if he's just done at this point. Maybe seeing someone else be tortured the way he was, but maybe not. That woman who worked for who worked for Ramsay, was ripped apart to shreds by the hounds. Maybe if it was someone he really cares about. Bran's probably not in danger from him in the north of the Wall now that Locke is dead, but Rickon might be in danger if Ramsay finds out he's with the Umbers. Sansa is safe in the Vale, at least safe from him, not safe from like Lysa and Littlefinger. Arya, no, he can't get his hands on Arya. Just thinking about it makes me want to, I don't know. It just keep your hands off everybody, the Stark family, Ramsay. And then we're in Essos. Daenerys says she would do what queens do and rule last episode, but this is not what I imagined. Listening to each person's complaints one by one, I'd say she should delegate, but she doesn't trust anyone enough to make these judgments other than herself. And I think it's important to her to let people know she's accessible and on their side. But we go back to what Tywin said to Tommen. For all of Tywin's fault, he's pretty wise. When he talked about that king who was just but didn't see his brother's betrayal coming, was it really just of him to leave the kingdom to a much crueler leader? And I feel like the situation is similar in this case. What Daenerys is doing is just, but is it a good use of her time? Is it just to listen to people's problems and try to solve them while people are being enslaved again on your very continent? And that reminds me, one of my Patreon supporters, Jessica, reminded me that I should be saying that these people are enslaved, not that they're slaves. I think I learned this at some point, but I forgot. Calling them slaves implies this is inherently part of their identity, their slaveness. But saying they are enslaved puts the focus back on the people's sins for enslaving them. But yeah. So yeah, Daenerys needs to groom someone to look over these people, especially when she sails to Westeros. Being the only one capable of ruling is not going to work. Barristan and Jorah aren't a good fit because she needs them in Westeros. I'd say Grey Worm since he knows the people and the lands, but she needs him leading the Unsullied. And I think that just leaves Daario. I guess he would make some sense, but I also don't trust him enough to... I don't trust his judgment enough to let him do that. It'd be really cool if she wound up letting Missandei? I can't pronounce her name correctly. It's not like Daenerys will need a translator in Westeros. Problem with that is that while Missandei is kind enough, she doesn't have the skills to do it yet. So yeah, if Daenerys wants to leave Essos, she needs to groom somebody soon. Did it turn out that Barristan was right about showing mercies to the slave masters though? Like, yes, the guy's father did speak out against crucifying slave children, but he also enslaved a ton of people. If Daenerys hadn't shown mercy to those at Astapor and Yunkai, would those cities have been retaken? I don't know what the right answer is. This is actually like pretty fascinating because we've been rooting for Daenerys and I've been like, she's doing exactly what I would do when she was taken over Astapor, but now we're met with harder decisions and we get to see what kind of ruler she'll be and what kind of conqueror she'll be. I don't know if Oberyn's role has been decided, but he's on the Small Council. He was the only one to not stand when Tywin came in, though. He knows Tywin needs him no matter what rules he flaunts. Or, not flaunts, what rules he ignores. So when Tywin calls for silence later during the trial because people are laughing, Oberyn immediately makes them laugh again. So far, it's pretty harmless, but I don't know if Tywin will eventually regret putting him on the council. Though I suppose having Dorne as an ally is way more important at the moment. We'll see if that changes. Mace Tyrell is super useless. And he's so easily shocked by everything. Varys said, Sandor said, fuck the king. And Mace was like, oh my stars, what? He said what? And then Shay calls herself a whore. And he's like... I included the one on the right because I found it hilarious. But Tywin calls out Cersei's ineptitude for letting Barristan Selmy walk away. That never should have happened. But they don't seem all that concerned. Least of all Cersei. Like, have some foresight. Oh, they're just baby dragons. Yeah, they're still freaking dragons. And you're just gonna wait till they grow up? I'm afraid the show is misleading us though, like with the Red Wedding. Like, surprise, we had a plan all along to kill our enemies. Varys seems to be taking it seriously though. And we also learned this episode that Varys was asexual. And it's interesting that Oberyn, someone who's probably been judged for being bi or pansexual, who's probably had people not take his sexual preference seriously, it's weird to see him go on to judge Varys for his orientation. But it's true to life. The scene with Tyrion at the stand reminded me that I've actually seen another part of this show before in a GIF. It must have been like a blooper or something, and Tyrion's just like... I can't wait to get caught up with and watch some bloopers for the show. There are bloopers, I'm assuming. I'm sure once I'm done, I'll with the series, I'll want to consume every little piece of Game of Thrones content there is out there. But that trial, though, everyone was against Tyrion, and a lot of the ways Joffrey was a little too aggressive, a lot of the ways Tyrion was a little too aggressive as Hand came back to bite him. I thought he'd made too many enemies and it would get him killed, but I thought he'd be like assassinated or something, not like killed like this. Olenna probably shouldn't have told Marjorie that she was the one who killed Joffrey, though. Marjorie was the only one in the room who knew what happened, unless Loras knew too. And she's kind-hearted, but seeing someone being torn apart because he's a dwarf and by false accusations, that couldn't have been easy for her to deal with either. To keep her mouth shut. But I knew Tywin and Tyrion had to have a showdown at some point. Like, all of Tywin's children were treated terribly by Tywin, but Tyrion is treated worst of all. I knew he'd be the first to break. And it was really Shay who pushed him over the edge. It was really her. I said a couple episodes that he shouldn't have gotten rid of her the way he did, but I didn't think it would lead to this. She has every right to be furious at him and hate him, but this... I feel like she went too far. She's trying to have him killed. I get her anger and pain, like I said in the previous episode. He was the one man she trusted to treat her with kindness and see beyond what she did for a living for who she is, and he betrayed that completely. I get it. I get wanting to hurt him back. I just wish it didn't come to this. But I can't forgive her for saying that Sansa was involved in the murder too. She said she loved the girl, but now she's betraying her. I'm actually wondering if she's being forced to do this, though. Tyrion sent her away and made sure she was on a boat. The one sailing the boat wouldn't turn around for her. So maybe one of the Lannisters found her. They are the only ones who knew about her. So Cersei is the one who wanted Tyrion dead no matter what. So maybe she threatened Shay and is having her say whatever she wants her to say. Shay even calls herself a whore. I'm not sure if that's her using Tyrion's words against him, or if she's saying that she's being paid to do this. I don't think she'd give up Sansa for any amount of gold, though, so if she's being controlled, it's probably because she's being threatened. It's just so complicated. Unless she blames Sansa for everything falling apart. I don't know what to think anymore, though. Tyrion is so distraught and hurt. But that speech at the end... Up until this point, the best speech was given by Littlefinger about chaos is a ladder. Chaos is a ladder. But this was next level. And it is indeed trial by combat. I said it might be, but I wasn't sure. It was like one of the possibilities I thought of. But poor Jaime, though, he feels so strongly for his brother, and he has to watch him throw his chance away. Like, Jaime was willing to give up his freedom for Tyrion's life. Like, I don't think Tywin knew Jaime would offer to come back into the family, but he certainly hadn't given up on Jaime taking back Casterly Rock eventually. So he says yes so quickly. So everything to further the family, everything can be traded in this game of politics. So Tywin must be furious right now because Tyrion also just like messed up any chance of Jaime coming back to Casterly Rock. And once again, Tyrion demands a trial by combat. This time was so much cooler than the first time. I thought it might be an option for him again, but I don't see who can fight on his behalf. Jaime isn't proficient enough with his left hand, and he can't go against Tywin and Cersei. Bronn is under investigation himself, though maybe he'll be allowed to fight to clear his own name too. Well, who else can he call? The only other person possibly willing to fight for him would be Pod, and he only killed that Kingsguard once from behind, and he's out of the city. And, I don't know, is Tyrion gonna have to fight himself? That seems like not a great idea. But yeah, what does this mean for Tyrion? Either he loses and dies, or he wins. But even if he wins, he can't stay in King's Landing anymore. He's done in this city. How bittersweet would it be if he has to go to Pentos to live out his days? He could have done that before with Shay, but I think it would be too painful to go there now after what happened with him and Shay. I can't decide what score I'm going to give this. 4.5 or 5. It's so exciting. I will remember that speech till the day I die, so I'm going to give it a 5. 5 direwolves, guys. For those of you that are keeping track, that's the same score I gave for the Reigns of Castamere. Season 4 has been phenomenal so far. People weren't joking early on when I was like in season 1, like you have no idea how crazy the show will get. I really didn't. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you can't wait to watch the next episode, make sure to check out the early access option on Patreon in the link in the description below. The next 3 episodes are up already. Thanks for watching. Bye, friends.